Hello fellow Reaperites, today I'm going to show you how to use colour and icons to organise your projects effectively in Reaper. I've got a project in front of me and you can see how I've used colours and icons to group together instruments of the same type so it's easy to find them in the project. So all my drum and percussion items are green, my bass is in blue, and my vocals, in a minute, I'll change to a similar colour, so again I can find vocals very quickly. I can set up colours and icons manually, so let me show you with the 3 vocal tracks at the top here. I want to set these to orange with a vocal icon. So if I take the first track, I can right click on the track and change the track colour. So let's set that to a custom colour and I'll choose orange. And similarly, I can go into track icons and set a track icon. So Reaper comes with a few icons, these sort of black and white ones. If you go to the Reaper stash, I'll post the link below. You can get a whole lot of other icons as well in different categories. So I'll choose the female vocal icon. And so now I've got colour and an icon here. But doing it manually is a slow process, and I want every track that I have Vox in the name to be orange with this icon on. So luckily, the SWS extensions that I've mentioned in previous videos comes to the rescue, and they have an auto colour icon process that you can set up the rules and it will do the colouring and the icons automatically for you. Again, I'll post a link below if you haven't used SWS before, but it's in most of my videos, so you really ought to get it. So to go into the auto color icon setup, you go to extensions, auto color icon, and it brings up a set of rules. I've set up quite a few here. Just to talk you through how this works. Effectively, you're saying what type of rule you're applying. It can apply color to tracks, markers and regions. You then specify what the filter is, so it could be a name or something more sophisticated, which I'll show you later on. And then you apply the color and the icon, and you can even apply layouts for your mixer and your track layout here. So I'll show you that later as well. So rather than me having to manually set it up for vocals, I could set up a new rule. And I could say every time that a track has the word vocal or Vox in the title, I want to set it to orange and I want to set this icon. So if I click on Add Rule and double click on the filter, I will put the word Vox. So this is being applied at the track level. It's looking for the word Vox, and then I will choose a color of orange and apply. You can see straight away my 3 Vox tracks have changed to orange. And if I double click on the icon and choose the same vocal female icon, you can see that gets applied automatically. So now every project I start, if I put the word Vox in a track, I will get the color orange and the female vocal icon there as well. And just to show you, this applies not only to the arrange window, but also to the mixer window as well. It is a bit theme dependent on how it will look, but generally speaking, the color will be predominant in those windows. So if I switch from the arrange view to the mixer view, I now see all my vocal parts in orange, all my drum parts in green, all my bass parts in blue. And so if I wanted to go and change, for example, the drum shaker, I can visually and quickly find the drum parts in green, and I can go to the shaker because of the icon drawing me there. So it's visually helping me to get to things quicker. Anyway, let's go back to the arrange window. Let me show you a couple of other things you can do as well. So I've set up a rule that a track with the name of Vox has this particular color. But what if I want to put a rule in that says I want all folders to be a certain color? Or something like that. So So I often arrange my parts into folders for submixing. So for example, let's create a new track here. This is going to be my vocal folder. So let's call it Vox. So at the moment, you see it's applying the rule of orange and the female vocal icon, but I actually want a different rule because it's a folder. It isn't a folder yet, but it will be in a second. So let's select my 3 vocal subparts and move them into the folder. Okay, so now we've got a Vox folder with 3 vocal tracks inside it. So I want this Vox folder to be black, and I want it to have a different layout as well. I want a bigger slider so that I can do quick submixes of the vocal parts. So let's go back into our auto color icon window, and I'm going to add a new rule, but this time instead of putting a name, if I right click, there are a whole load of other options. I can apply a rule to a folder, to children, to tracks with receives, to the master track, and so on and so forth. So let me choose the folder type, and I'm going to choose a color of black. So I would expect now this folder track to be in a black color, not an orange color. But what happens is that the rules are applied working from the top down. So as soon as it comes across a rule that matches the criteria, it applies the color and icon and stops. So you can see here that it's got to Vox before the folder, and it's gone orange and the female icon. So let's move the folder icon up to the top of the list. And now it's black. But notice it still has the female vocal icon. That's because if you don't specify both a color and an icon, it applies the color, but it then carries on going down the list looking for more matches to apply an icon. So I can have a folder that's black, and then I can have other icons depending on which type of folder it is. So vocal folder gets the vocal icon, maybe a drum folder gets the drum icon, but it's still black. So let's do that. Let's take the drums. Let's actually do a new track and call this drums. So right now it's green. That's my drum color with a drum kit. And now I'll move the drum parts into the folder. And now my drums changes to black because it's become a folder, but it still retains the drum icon. And now I've got folders I can collapse and expand those folders and do new mixes. Now there's one other thing I want to show you here with the folders. I can even specify the layout of the channel strips in the mixer or the track layout. So for example, on my folders, I want to have the large slider view. So different Reaper themes will have different layout options. So you can have a play with those by right-clicking and choosing track layout. And in the track panel, you see I've got, in this theme that I'm using, about 15 different layouts. And the one I want to use is called D1 Fader. So if I go to my auto color and I choose the folder track layout, double click and put D1 Fader in there, can you see that the folder tracks have now changed to a different layout with a large fader here. So it's very easy for me to now submix those parts. So the auto color is used for not only color and icon, but also layout changes as well. It's very useful. And I want to show you one final use that I think is a good use for color as well. Often when I'm recording, if I press the arm, I can see the red lit up record armed button and red in the input. But sometimes it's not enough. I'd like to see the whole track in red to really visually draw my eye to the track that I'm recording on. So to do that, I can add another rule. And if I look in my list, one of the options is record armed. So let's put that at the top so it gets applied, always gets applied first. And I'm going to put a color of red. Now, no matter what colours the tracks are already, if I put it into record, it changes to red. And when I take it out of record, it goes back to the original colour. So I could record drums, they go back to green when I come out of record, bass, which is blue, red when I'm recording, and blue when I take it out of record. So it's a very useful feature of the auto colour items. So the final thing I want to show you today is the options you've got for where the colour appears in your interface. So at the moment you can see the tracks are fully coloured and the items are also in the colour that's been applied as well. But you can change the options for that in the preferences. So if you go into Control P for preferences, there are a couple of options where you can change the colours, or where the colours appear, I should say. So go into the Appearance section and go to Peaks and Waveforms. And there are two options here. The Media Peaks colours and the Media Background colours. You can apply them based on the track colour. You can set individual item colours or even individual take colours. I'm not going down to that level in this video, but the track colours is what I've been applying. So if I uncheck this and apply, you see that the items in the arrange window now go back to boring old grey. So the options you've got here are tinting the track background, as you saw a second ago, tinting the peaks so that grey items but the colour in the actual peaks, or doing both. And if you do both, what it will do is it will just do a darker version of the colour. If I zoom in, it's maybe clearer. So this is orange, and this is just a darker version of orange, so it's more like brown. If I uncheck the peaks and apply, you'll see it goes back to black. Personally, I prefer it to have it black with the background. Draws my eye to the part, but I can still see the waveforms in enough detail to do editing. So that's one area in which you can change the colour, the appearance. The other area is under Appearance, Track Control Panels. And there are two main options here. I've got both of these options, set the track label backgrounds and tint track panel backgrounds checked on. If I uncheck the track panel backgrounds, you get just a little bit of colour. Some people might prefer that, it's less garish. So you have some colour in the labels. And if you uncheck that, then the whole thing goes back to grey. So you just have the colour in the arrange window. Anyway, I hope you found this tutorial useful. If you have, please like and subscribe below, and I'll see you the same time next week. See you then.